Yeah, very good afternoon. Thank you for coming, and I would like to welcome you all on behalf of the party and myself and my CP. Today, it is one of the darkest moments for the people of the Northeast. We are disturbed, and the people of the Northeast, in spite of having demonstrated the resolve to protest the introduction of the Citizenship Amendment Bill in the Parliament by the NDA government. The NDA government has gone ahead, introduced the bill, and what appears is before us that they are determined to bulldoze this bill and want to give effect to the whole intent of the bill to ultimately operationalize. The protest from the Northeast has been loud and clear across the whole different diverse ethnic communities of the region. We have seen that there has been protests coming from all parts of the Northeast, besides the rest of the country as well. But the concern of the people of the Northeast has been appropriately articulated in a manner that the government of the day can understand. And they are able to take cognizance of these concerns and therefore address these concerns in the right perspective and at the same time ensure that the concerns of the people of the Northeast are taken into consideration and do not further proceed with the whole legislative exercise. I had the privilege to also join the delegation, which was a complete delegation involving all the political parties and civil society organizations of the state of Tura. And in the course of discussion, we have unanimously indicated our resolve to oppose the CAB. It involved all the stakeholders, all the civil society organizations of the state, including the political parties. And the delegation also took a resolution which was unanimous that we shall oppose the CAB. But however, what we could see is that the whole exercise of discussion and engagement with all the political parties and different civil society organizations of the Northeast were found to be just a cosmetic exercise, because the government has gone ahead with the introduction of this bill. Now, there are attempts to just somehow camouflage the whole intent of the bill in such a manner that, okay, the people of the Northeast are protected. The ethnic indigenous communities of different states where we have the 6 scheduled areas, where we have the operationalization of ILP are going to be protected. Now, for every citizen, it's a common sense that we don't have two categories of citizens. Now, the CAB intends to give citizenship to all those foreigners who will apply that they be given their citizenship based on the mandate of this Act, and they will indicate their eligibility. The eligibility criteria is that all those foreigners who will substantiate and indicate that they are victims of religious persecution in 3 neighboring countries. That is Bangladesh, Pakistan and Afghanistan. Now the moot question here is how many such foreigners are going to be eligible once the Citizenship Amendment Bill is enacted and becomes a law and operational. There is no data to indicate about the exact number. I am talking about the number of so-called foreigners who will be eligible to get citizenship after the Citizenship Amendment Bill becomes operational and who are already in it. Now, we are all witness to the long-drawn agitation in Northeast, the long-drawn anti-foreigners Assam movement, which ultimately culminated into the Assam Accord 1985. And what does the Assam Accord 1985 says? That, okay, there should be detection of all the foreigners, all the illegal immigrants, and anybody who has come after the 24 4th of March 1971 must be deported back or should be treated as illegal migrants or otherwise the foreigners who have entered the country illegally. As per the law, we have relevant laws to deal with illegal immigrants. Now, the whole exercise to implement the Assam Accord 1985 has been the exercise of NRC in respect of Assam. We know what has happened after the whole exercise of NRC in Assam. And all this exercise, subjecting the citizens to so much of agonizing experiences, in addition to that, the whole resources that has been spent, the time and resources. The whole mandate of Assam Accord 1985 and the whole exercise thereof has become infructuous now with this proposed CAB. Therefore, this is something which goes against the overall understanding based on which the whole Assam Accord was ultimately signed and the whole exercise thereof to implement the mandate of the accord. Now, there are indications that they want to tell us, okay, look, Meghalaya has 6 scheduled areas and there are other states who have 6 scheduled areas. Tell me one thing. Citizens, once they are citizens of this country, they can acquire citizenship from any of the states, not necessarily necessary that any foreigner who are residing in Meghalaya, any illegal immigrant who are residing in Meghalaya shall have to apply for their citizenship from Meghalaya, from the 6th scheduled area. They can apply from anywhere. That is what the law provides. And therefore, we are opening up a Pandora's box. We don't know how many people will ultimately be eligible, and once they are eligible and they apply for citizenship and they are accorded citizenship, where are they going to gravitate? Now, because of demographic reason, I have shared this concern that eventually all those who will ultimately become eligible to get the citizenship, all those foreigners, they will ultimately gravitate to the northeastern region and eastern part of the country because of demographic reason. So the brunt of this whole exercise through this CAB will ultimately be borne by the people of the Northeast. Will have to ultimately bear the brunt of this whole outcome or the fallout of this exercise. Result is that the concerns of the people, particularly the voice which is echoing from different civil society organizations on behalf of the ethnic indigenous communities, these concerns will ultimately create a kind of sense of your lack of trust, lack of confidence in the system, because in a democracy we expect that the voice of everyone should be taken into cognizance and must be heard and must be respected. That is the spirit of democracy. We may not be having the numbers to make our stand be palpable enough for the whole nation, because the number games. But the fact is that in a democracy, we must understand that the spirit of inclusiveness must always be inherent part of democracy. Today, this whole action of the government of India, the fact that they are bulldozing this whole legislative exercise, indicates that they are not sensitive to the concerns of the people, to the sentiments of the people, and that does not augur well for a nation which requires to ensure the kind of coherent society, a harmonious society, and do not give space for any kind of sense of frustration and alienation to ultimately emanate and grow. We have seen the whole Northeast having suffered because of this kind of situation, and therefore, if we revisit the past, we know this whole conflict that we have witnessed and the region has gone through is basically because a sense of insecurity, sense of fear in respect of the dilution of the existing demography of the region, which may result in creating a situation where people will not be in a position to preserve the identity of our respective indigenous community whose population are so microscopic. The whole reason, whether it is Assam, whether it is Nagaland, whether it is Manipur, whether it is Tripura, whether it is Meghalaya, all the northeastern states, we have number of ethnic indigenous communities and our population. When we talk about the respective population of every indigenous ethnic communities, what is the population? Therefore, there is a reason to understand the gravity of this concern. Therefore, it is time for us to ensure that the voice of the people of the Northeast is appropriately articulated and it echoes loud and clear from here. From today, we decide to protest and demonstrate our resolve to protest. We will be wearing black badge from today onwards, and we will also see that everywhere, whether it is in the state of Meghalaya, at the state capital or district capital, or the block capitals, our collective voice is appropriately articulated through this demonstration, and we hope to prevail upon various other political parties which has their elected representatives both in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha of the Parliament, and ensure that the good sense prevails and the bill is defeated. We have tried before the general election, and our Congress leadership in Delhi has appropriately stonewalled the further discussion and the attempt to pass the CAB when they had tried to pass it in the Rajya Sabha, or rather introduce it in the Rajya Sabha after the same bill was bulldozed in Lok Sabha of the earlier house prior to the election. I have reasons to believe that different political parties will come together and look at the long-term negative ramification of this proposed bill and therefore defeat the attempt of the government to pass this bill. I also want to make it abundantly clear. The concern of the people of this region must be understood by the people of the other parts of the country or the rest of the country. The people from the rest of the country should understand why this concern is being persistently conveyed and expressed by the people of the Northeast. We have a neighbor, Bangladesh, where the Bangladesh demography, you look at the census of Bangladesh and the population of Bangladesh, our neighboring country, they have a mixed demography. We also have a respectable population of non-Muslim communities in Bangladesh. Now, when our nation creates this enabling environment through a legislation of this form, it will give reason for the forces who have vested interests in the neighboring country to ultimately create a situation to push away our people. In fact, I foresee a humanitarian crisis in the long run in our neighboring countries because of this proposed amendment. There will be a situation where our people who are minority in those neighboring countries will be a victim, will be a target by the forces who will misuse this provision in the relevant act to enable our people to claim citizenship in our state, in our country, based on religious persecution. That will ultimately create a wrong precedence, and I'm afraid, as I've said, it can ultimately culminate into a humanitarian crisis in the long run. Now, somebody told me that, look, why are you saying that, okay, we should be concerned about the CAB? Because the proposed bill which is being tabled is a new form. Is something like they call CAB second coming. That is how they have referred to this proposed amendment, saying that there will be some clause which exempts certain areas from making the provision of this act operational, specifically in areas where the ILP is operational and in the areas where we have the 6 rule areas. Now, after what has happened in Kashmir, the Article 370 which provided them the special status, after this Article 370 has been abrogated, can we trust this government? It has shaken the trust. The Article 35A, which provided the state legislature to enact, to actually define the residents of the Jammu and Kashmir and also provide special provision to protect the interests of the people of the Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir, it's abrogated. Now therefore, okay, today you are saying that, okay, don't worry, you have this act, but then we have seen that at certain point of time, this whole exercise, what has happened in respect of Kashmir, only generates that kind of doubt and therefore lack of trust about the intent and about what they can go, up to what extent they can go in the long term. I would therefore urge upon all the political parties, irrespective of whatever stand they must have taken prior to this introduction of this bill and after introduction of this bill, after consultation that was resorted to by the Government of India, to camouflage their intent, to understand the actual complexities which is associated with this intent and the ultimate humanitarian crisis that will unfold in the years to come. There will be no end. Ultimately, that's why I'm saying that ultimately there will be a humanitarian crisis. And any humanitarian crisis of that nature is not something which the whole global community wants. Thank you.